Nelson Mandela spent years of imprisonment at Robben Islands, and after being released in 1990, he worked to end apartheid, which is a discrimination on the basis of race. He became the president of South Africa in 1994, and when he became the president, even his security team were finding it difficult to work together because some were white, some were black. Mandela's immediate challenge was balancing black aspirations and white fears, which is basically to tackle crime and unemployment. Springboks was the South African national rugby team, but all the players were white except one. When Nelson Mandela went to watch their game, the audience started jeering and mocking their own country's team just because they were white. According to them, white people symbolized the oppression of the blacks in the past. So an all-white team symbolized the prejudice that marred their lives. After seeing this uncomfortable situation between the whites and the non-whites, both in his security team as well as the rugby game, Nelson Mandela felt that transformation of Africans' opinion about the rugby team, Springbok, can bring a significant change in bringing an end to apartheid, the discrimination between races. In 1995, Rugby World Cup was to be held in South Africa. So Nelson Mandela decided to meet the South African Sports Committee. He also met the captain of the Springbok team, Francois Pienaar. They discussed Mandela's main idea that if Springbok could capture the imagination and the support of the non-whites and do well in the upcoming World Cup, it would contribute to unifying South Africa. Nelson Mandela also shared how the poem Invictus motivated him to stand when all he wanted to do was to lie down in his prison cell. The players of the Springbok team approached the local non-whites and they succeeded in winning their favor. The locals started to support the home team. Just as Mandela hoped for, people of all races extended their support, and even Mandela's guards supported the Springbok jersey with the Captain Pienaar's number 6 on it. The environment was totally different when the South African players entered the stadium. A young black boy was seen hoisted by white police officers as they celebrated the South African rugby team. The team was not expected to go beyond the quarterfinals, but luck was in their favor and they reached the finals to play against the New Zealand team. New Zealand team, which was considered almost unconquerable. The star player of the New Zealand team, John Alomu, was at the peak of his form. South African team, with Pienaar as their captain, pushed to their limits and ended up in a tie. Extra time was given and South African team emerged as victorious. The stadium was filled with 62,000 people of different races. The president, Nelson Mandela, and the captain, Francois Pienaar, met on the field and congratulated each other on the memorable victory. With the end of apartheid, the South African people began to be accepted all around the world in other countries. Winning the 1995 World Cup, South Africa also hosted the 2010 Football World Cup. Mandela's people needed a leader and he gave them a champion. The prose ends with a final lesson that pride has many faces. It could be a noble face or even a cruel face. That is, pride can be either good or bad. For Mandela, his pride was a noble one. He put an end to the discrimination on the basis of color among people by uniting South African rugby team. He rose from being in a rotten prison cell and succeeded in his struggle to unite his country. With that, the prose Invictus ends. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.